It's that time of year again, the time we all rise from the shadows, clutching our pumpkin spice beverages and whispering collectively into the cool autumn air, decorate, decorate. Which I would love to do, except that all of my fall decor looks like it came from a Dollarama. Because it came from a Dollarama. And while dollar store fall decor has given my heart and my budget much joy, this year my soul longs for drama. Think an abandoned Gothic castle, once owned by a mysterious half-human, half-owl who fled into the night after her heart was broken by a mysterious stranger. And if we're gonna make anything like that happen and not spend the next 3 years eating only rice for dinner, we're gonna have to get crafty. That's how I get crafty. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him well. So the vision is essentially that I want the decor to say, only enter if you bring news from the Moth Kingdom. I'm very inspired by Whimsical, nature, dark fantasy, and obviously Gothic aesthetics. I want it to be lush, dark, dramatic, nature-inspired with lots of nocturnal imagery and celestial imagery. So this is what I have planned. I want to do a painting recreating the Hunt of the Unicorn, which is that medieval tapestry of the unicorn that everyone's obsessed with, including myself. I want to craft a raven, potentially with a cute little hat. I'm going to make a wall plaque with a Luna moth, and I'm going to craft some miniature Gothic Baroque frames with little paintings inside. I haven't painted much lately, and I've really been missing it, so I'm excited to do some of that. And finally, I will be upcycling some thrifted decor, probably looking for a few simple things like candlesticks and maybe a lantern that I can just paint black. And obviously pumpkins, because what can I say? I'm basic. Okay, so this is what I got. I managed to get everything for about $20, which is great. A little lantern, some flowers. We're gonna see if you can spray paint plastic flowers. I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see. This like vase planter thing, that's my face. Candlestick, this thing. This I'm excited about. And that was it. Let's go home. And the time hath come to begin crafting. Actually, the time had already come. I'd started crafting on the previous day, but I was a bit under the weather, so I didn't want to record my intro and everything. So please enjoy day 0, and we will return to day 1 promptly after you've been caught up to speed. Glue gun, and only mini glue guns. Filling this frame was so hard. I had to use the heat gun at the same time to keep it from cooling too fast. Anyway, I got there eventually, but it was a bit of a struggle. I'm gonna have to invest in a new glue gun. But in the end, these turned out very interesting. I had these frame molds, which were very, very small. This one was the biggest, and it's still quite petite. And I just used the heat gun to melt away any little sticky bits that I didn't want on there. They look really cute. I'm really happy with how these turned out. And then I also created a bunch of little pieces of filigree and created a frame of my own out of cardboard. I made multiple layers of cardboard to give it a little more dimension, a little more interest. Make myself a tasty little cardboard and glue sandwich. And then I hot glued on all the little bits and bobs to create a fun, beautiful Baroque design. Always gotta go for Baroque, am I right? I'll see myself out. Next up, I made a paper moth for the centerpiece of the Luna Moth wall plaque. To make this, I found a free photograph online on pexels.com, removed the background, and printed it out on some nice photo quality cardstock, then cut out each of the 4 wings carefully with an X-Acto knife, then glued them all together, as you'll see in a minute. So for the body of the moths, I need some white fur, and I have this. Every time I look at it, I'm like, that's so cute, that's so pretty. I'll feel so fancy and cute when I put it on, and then I put it on and I look at it and I'm like, what? It just doesn't work. So it is going to be repurposed. So I cut up a piece of the hat and trimmed it to the shape of the moth's body, making a nice round curve at the end and a pointed triangle at the back. I did actually end up reshaping this piece much later and making it much, much smaller, the body. And then I changed the angle of the wings because I found that was a bit off. So unfortunately, I didn't get that on camera. So you will have to wait to see until later when I work on the plaque. But something important here is that I bend the tips of the wings after I glue each wing into one piece so that it sort of lifts upwards and outwards from the body and it's not just totally flat and dimensionless. I glue everything together with hot glue, make some little antennas from this brown fur I had on hand. I'll just hot glue those on and voila, we have our little night friend. It'll look better after I fix it, I promise. And then we're back to day 1. As soon as I returned from the thrift store, I was really excited to get spray painting, so I wanted to prep my materials. I decided to do a layer of Mod Podge and tissue paper to cover over the rough texture of the edges of the cardboard frame, make it look a little bit more polished, and I really wish that I had done this before putting the little decorations on and gotten it really smooth and professional looking. So I just got all my supplies ready to spray paint and I got everything like masked off that needed to be masked off. And now it's raining. So what am I gonna do? I think I will start working on the crow because I know that's gonna take a long time. I'm going to be making this basically out of garbage. It's a trash crow, which kind of makes sense. So it's like paper and like cardboard. I do have some black feathers, starting with these. How big is a crow? I've never gone up and measured one. The forbidden subway. I guess I really don't want the head too big. That's not it. Let's try again. I'm overthinking. Sometimes I'm overthinking, the rest of the times I'm underthinking. It's either all thoughts or no thoughts. It's beautiful. It needs a neck. I love making stuff out of nothing. This was just trash. Okay, so I actually looked up reference. Of what a crow looks like, and I was way off. It is looking much more bird-like, much more raven-like. I actually took out this second styrofoam ball at the back. Also, I keep saying crow, but what I really mean is raven. So I'm making the wings. They go on like that-ish. I'm gonna start drawing on some feather outlines so that I know how to place my feathers. And I only could find the one size of feathers, so it would have been nice to have like different sizes. I am gonna try like clipping them down. So I'm currently just about to finish up the face, and then we will still have to do the legs. But I also have very few feathers left, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna pull this off. So I patched together the rest of the face as best as I could, and I did make some changes to the beak as well, which you'll see later. But when I went to do the legs, I actually ended up doing them off camera because I was running out of time. So you will see on day 2 the end product, how this all turned out, never fear. And then finally, it was dry enough outside that I could actually spray paint the stuff that I had been waiting all day for. Finally, with that all finished, it was time to head to bed. Good morning. Don't know why I'm doing jazz hands, but good morning. So last night I did some filming, but I was very tired. So I'm going to show you now today some of the stuff that I did yesterday. Allow me to introduce Bob. The reason I named him Bob is because I couldn't get the legs to work without him tipping over. So I just gave him a base instead. But overall, not terrible. And the feathers look really cool. When you're pretty far away, it's a little uncanny. Then you get close up and you're like, oh, that is not, no, that's Bob. So last night we learned why you don't spray paint in the dark. I'm gonna have to do some touch-ups. So that's my first task for this morning. I have 4 paintings to do today and that plaque. Oh, I forgot all about the mushrooms. I'm gonna spray paint the mushrooms too. Ah, yes. So when I was on vacation, I made a bunch of little magnetic mushrooms like this, like bracket fungi. And I realized that if I put a magnet in the back, I can stick them onto any metal surface and then it looks like they're like growing out of it, which is very, very cool. And I realized that I have metal on the grate on my fireplace, so I can put these on my fireplace. So they'll be part of the, oh, it's so cool. I'm excited. Let's go. So now all the pieces are dried and ready to get a little bit of silver paint added to the details, but I am going to save that for the end. Unfortunately, the only one that didn't work out super well was this candlestick, which got a lot of paint seep through the masking tape and I had to scratch it off with a knife. But for now, let's do the moth plaque. So I already have my moth and my plaque. I also have my trusty moths. Let's do it. So once again for the plaque, I turned to my hot glue and created some extra decorations with my molds. This time I also made some mushrooms and made a whole bunch of these and then just painted them all with a coat of black paint. And then I added some of this lovely dragonfly glaze to give it a little bit of that moonlight sparkle. Okay, so I am going to try and make some little butterflies for this. Let's experiment. So I must admit, crafting these little paper butterflies was very nostalgic. It felt very kindergarten. It felt very childlike, but it was really fun. I added a little bit of silver paint to the edges as well to just give them a little more interest. And after gluing everything down with some hot glue, it was time to add some moths. Okay, I finished the plaque and I love it. Not because it's perfect or incredible, but it's very me. And now it is time to paint. So I have so much painting to do. Let's go. And finally, it was time to start painting. I had sketched these out on day 0 when I was lying in bed resting, so I didn't get it on camera, but I'm really happy with the designs. I'm using Arteza gouache in wineberry, black, and white, keeping it really simple. I haven't painted with gouache in a while. If you don't know, gouache is like a hybrid between acrylic and watercolor. Not a hybrid, but it's like the middle ground between the two where you can mix it with water to make it more transparent as a wash, but you can also leave it much more opaque, and it sort of feels like the best of both worlds to me. I used a few different pieces of reference to paint the barn owl, but did my own version of things. But for the crow and the mushrooms, I was very heavily inspired by other works. The original painting of the crow, which inspired my version, was by Janie D. Mattern, who has an Etsy shop you can check out. The mushrooms, I was also inspired by a piece that I found on Pinterest. Unfortunately, I have lost it, so I cannot give credit, sadly. But if anyone happens to know who it was by, let me know, and I will put that in the description. Finished the mini paintings and I am very happy. I think they're very cute. They're so small. This is literally the size of my thumb. It was really fun to paint. I really enjoyed doing it. I only have one more painting to work on. I'm gonna glue these to their frames real quick. And then we have our last project. Let's do it. So this painting is a little bit tragic. I went for a very simplified version because I was really super rushed. But I realized afterwards that I could have literally just printed out a copy of the actual artwork and displayed that because it is in the public domain and it's accessible online. And I kind of wish I'd done that, but I did have fun, so. Okay, so I have a little bit of light left, a little bit of time, and so I'm going to do a little bit of extra details on some of these thrifted things. Let's do this. Now, this is a bit of a spoiler, but one of my greatest disappointments with this project was leaving that orange color on the candlestick you just saw. I think it looks great when it's on its own, but when paired with the rest of the decor, it just doesn't work for me. And I really wish that I had painted over with some red or even black or something, but that orange just doesn't work for me. We did it! I am so happy I got everything done on time, and I actually really love everything that I made today. And thus, with no further ado, and absolutely no more gilding the lily, it is time for the reveal. We made it, folks. I am honestly so pleased. I feel like I'm starting to get my feet under me a little bit more with some of different crafting techniques and being able to execute my vision a little bit better. And it was just so nice to be able to sit down and do some painting because I haven't had time for painting very much lately, and that has been painful. I had such a great day, and seeing it all come together, it just brings my heart joy. And for my next video, I am hoping to give you some more cozy fall content about romanticizing your life in the fall. If you are interested in that, please subscribe so that you will hear when it comes out and we will not pass each other like ships in the night. And please, if you have any ideas or suggestions for fall fantasy themed DIYs, please share those in the comments because I know people will be so inspired by those and I will as well. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a gloriously creative rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.